the journey. I want to talk to you about the journey because that is what we're here to have. We're here to have the human experience, the human experience. And I want to tell you a little bit about what my experience has been like. Okay? Because on paper, it doesn't make sense why I am what I am, where I got to be where I am. And I'm sure in even 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I'll look back at this stage of my life and be like, what? This is nuts. But I can tell you it's all awareness. It's all awareness. But if you look back, because we can always connect the dots looking backwards, if you look back on your life, what level of awareness have you dug into to get you to where you are right now? And maybe you didn't do it consciously. Maybe you did it unconsciously or subconsciously. But the fact is you did it, right? Like you're here right now. You live in the house you live in. You're in the relationships you're in. You've attracted in the work that you're doing, the health that you have, who you spend time with, who you don't spend time with. Like you created all of that. Agreed? Right? Because we're all our own creators. Okay, so we're on the same page there. Now look back on your life, and I want you to look at what was that common thread that was woven through every single thing that you ever did. What was that one common thread? I know for me, I was even that kid that, kids always have lots of questions. And I'm just going to say, answer their questions. It's how they grow their awareness. Okay. I get it. I have 2 kids that are asking questions all the time. Just answer them. Okay. Based on your current level of awareness, just answer them. But I was always asking questions that my mom always said it was like, they were like ahead of my time. They were always deep questions. And I loved to understand why we do what we do. And so fast forward 17 years into my life, and for my family, it wasn't really an option. They were like, you're going to school, you're going to continue your education. I was like, okay, so what do I want to continue my education in? Because I got it, because my paradigm was very much a people pleaser. I've been a chronic people pleaser my entire life up until yesterday. Okay, Delingo achieved, not so much. She's not anymore. But first 30 years of my life, oh yeah, all the things in all the right order, all the things. Okay, so I'm 17 years old. And I'm like, oh, I got to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life. Spoiler alert, what I ended up choosing is what I ended up doing. Just it took me a solid 20 years to get there. Okay, that's okay. Again, it's the journey, right? You got to embrace it. So I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? So I go to my guidance counselor, because that's where high school students go, right? Because the guidance counselor knows everything about everything, when really, no dig on a guidance counselor, but really, you know how to the steps that society has created to get us here, right? But if I would have went to my guidance counselor and said, I want to be a multimillionaire, and I want it to happen quickly, would my guidance counselor have been able to tell me that? No. He or she would have said, oh, you've got to be a doctor or a lawyer, and you've got to, go to school, and it's laid out, right? But it's going to take some time to get there, because not even all doctors and lawyers are multimillionaires, right? So I'm just saying, but I had this idea. I was just like, I've always been curious, because she said to me, what do you want to do? And I said, I honestly have no idea. But what are my options? And she said, well, what do you like to do? What are you interested in? And I said, I'm not going to lie to you. I said, I have always been interested in why we do what we do. I said, I'm looking at people in society right now, and some people are did the stuff that I'm about to do. They went to school and they did all the things. And some people are crushing it, and some people aren't. Some people are in jobs that they hate. I said, I don't want to be in a job that I hate. So how do I not do that? So that's my first question. And some people are making a lot of money, and some people are paycheck to paycheck. Like, why are we, some people love their life, some people hate their life. Like, why do we do these things? And she goes, oh, well, you must be interested in psychology. So I Googled it. I mean, I knew what psychology was, but I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's where I'm going to get my answer. So here I go, off to university to get my BA in psychology, right? For those of you that have a BA in psychology, again, no digs on that. But needless to say, you'll agree with me. After 4 years, I learned a lot about the brain. I learned a lot about the chemicals and the neurotransmitters and all of the philosophies of psychology. But I can't say I came out of it knowing any more about why we do what we do. Fact, right? I mean, I knew that there were parts of the brain that, made my arm do this, made me do the robot apparently. But I didn't come out truly understanding it. So I was like, I guess I need more school, right? Because that was my current level of awareness. That's what I was taught. Like, you want to learn something, you go to school. So here I went back to school. I'm like, maybe it's in social work. Maybe that's what I'll learn it there, right? Because they're helping people all over the place, these social workers. So here I go, back to school. Keep doing all the things. And in that awareness, again, I learned that although it was in a little bit more alignment than my original degree, it was still not gonna get, it was like this box that I was like, I can't be, that's not going to allow me to, I still don't know why we do what we do. And I'm not meant to help people in that way. Right. So the universe always responds. Right. So I knew this, but this is me being an unconscious competent. This is what I call them. Right. So I was an unconscious competent, and I knew this, and what was I at this point? 22. Right. So I knew this. And I ended up, I got a job at a hospital. Okay. And I actually had that job at the hospital since I was 19. I'd been working there every summer as a housekeeper. Okay. Which I love that job. I'm like, I mean, I love to clean. I just love it. So I'm like, I get to clean and talk to people. Awesome. Right. So anyways, I loved that job. Best part was I made a ton of connections throughout the process, right? Because I'm cleaning all over the place. I'm like, one day I'm on women and children's, the next day I'm up on medicine, the next day I'm in the OR, the next day, right? So I'm meeting people all over the place. And anyways, that move alone got me my first management job. So within like a year, I think I was 23 at that point when I got my first manager's role. Okay. And again, it didn't make sense why that happened. And even other people would ask me, like, how did you do that? You just literally went from the summer student to the manager. And I was just like, I don't know. I didn't know how I did it. Now I understand. I was thinking about the impact I wanted to have, and I knew I couldn't have it within the box that I'd been currently putting myself in. Okay. So again, there's this thread, right? But I kept pulling on the thread. So then the hospital says, we want to keep promoting you, but you have to go back and get a master's in order to do that. And again, my paradigm of like, oh, you've got to keep going to school is loving this, right? So I'm like, all right, I can just go back to school again. But I decided to choose business because at that point, I mean, all these years of social working, I'm like, I don't understand this business of healthcare. Like, is it about the people or is it about the bottom line? I don't really know. Right. And I was like, not thinking about it in the way they wanted me to think about it. So I was like, I'll go study it. Okay. I need to grow my awareness in this. And even after that experience, I really realized that the business side of our current healthcare system, the way we did things in Canada, I was like, I'm not in alignment with this. Although I did it, I kept doing it. Anybody else do that? You keep doing the job, even though you're like, I just don't even agree with the way we're doing things right now. I would be like just wanting to, I literally would have like, I'd be in board meetings or like management meetings, and I'd be biting the insides of my cheeks so that I would like say something I wasn't supposed to say. You can imagine, right? But this was all awareness, right? And it contributed to how I was thinking. And then my thinking was getting me my results. Okay. But I didn't realize that this is what was happening. Okay. So then fast forward when I had Isabella in 2012. Okay. At this point, I needed that to happen. And again, maybe it's not having a kid for you, maybe it was something else, but it was like a sudden emotional impact. Okay. Something happened in your life that got you thinking differently. Okay. So not only did that pregnancy get me paying attention to what I was putting in my body, because I mean, guys, I'm a child of the 80s. I was pretty much raised on penicillin Pine Sol. Let's be perfectly honest. So I start paying attention to what I'm putting in my body. But I remember even saying to Dave, do you know that everything that I feel, our baby feels? Like no pressure or anything, but I can't even like lose my shit on anything because I'm like, they're feeling everything. And it was blowing my mind, right? I'm going, oh my gosh, okay. So that's when I actually wanted to get conscious about the thoughts that I was thinking. And not only was I paying attention to what I was putting in my body, I mean, I became a professional label reader. I unplugged all my plugins. I started using my essential oils. I was like paying attention to supplementing and what I was eating and drinking lots of water and like all the things, right? So, and again, this is just awareness. And that one little thought of, oh, my baby's experiencing everything I put in my body totally changed my life, totally changed the way I was thinking. This whole, oh my gosh, my baby is feeling all of my emotions. I'm literally programming her DNA based on my thinking because it's setting up a vibration. Okay. And I was like, holy crap, boom, started changing. Okay. And I started studying it. And this is then, which led me into initially health coaching, because it's like mom code, right? Like you find something that works. Like I was getting different results in motherhood than what my friends were. Like we were all moms, but I was doing it in a different way and it intrigued them. And so I ended up coaching them through it. Right. So initially it was health coaching and everybody would be like, so is that what you do now? Like you help moms? Like, and I'd be like, no. And I even would tell people like, this is like my side passion. Like I work at the hospital. That's what I do. But it wasn't my side passion. It was my spirit seeking expression. It was me starting to think in a different way and therefore starting to get different results. Okay. And that actually needed to happen, you guys, for 3 years. 3 years. I did not resign at the hospital until the girls were almost 2 and 4 by the time I decided to resign at the hospital. Because I was like, okay, this box that I put myself in is not going to work. Like I need to be and create and like do my thing. Right. And again, it was this woven piece. So it's like, yeah, I started my journey of expression through health coaching until I had the idea and realized that the whole time, like, yeah, I'm talking to people about plants and oils and nutrition and exercise and all the things. But then I'm like, I got to talk to them about mindset, because really half of the friggin' things that people are suffering from were created in their own mind. Like they're created in their own mind through their own stress, through their own anxiety, through their own, all the things. And again, I started going, oh my gosh, it's our thinking that's causing our results. And that's when I hired my first coach, because I'm like, I got to dig into this and I have no flippant idea where to even start. I have no idea where to start with this. This is just blowing my mind here. So that's when I hired my first coach, and she guided me through the process of turning our thoughts, why we do what we do, the programming, all those paradigms, all the things that I talked to you guys about, right? So she walked me through the programming piece of it, but then also she was able to show me how to turn your thoughts into things, like how we do it consciously. Because at this point I'm getting kick-ass results, right? Like my business is, I'm at that point, I'm like a 6-figure earner and I'm like attracting on all of these things, but I don't know how I'm doing it. Okay. And just like I didn't like to not know the business side of healthcare, I don't like to know how I'm turning my thoughts into things and like not how it's not happening. Okay. Or how it's happening. Cause then I can't duplicate it if I don't know how to do it again. Right. So she taught me how to do that. And I'm so grateful for her, by the way, like so grateful. And that was such a game changer for me. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I can help people learn how to turn their thoughts into things, because it's this power. It's in us. Like it's in you right now. Like if you're watching this, you actually have this power. I'm not actually like teaching you anything. And this stuff for sure is not taught in our school system, for sure. And healthcare professionals are not talking about this. And it should be, because it's our truth and it's in us. Okay. So this is, and it's been such amazing awareness, right? And as in a time where we're here to focus on our mental health and balance and freedom and just all the things that people want, right? Well, we want these things, but the order, and I tell you guys this all the time, the order is be, do, have. If you want to have the things, you have to do and be first. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I actually had to, in order for me to get where I am now, I had to be the person that already had it. Like, let me replay that again. Okay. In order for me to have what I have right now, I had to be the person that already had it, which means I'm going to do what she does in order to have what she has. That's massive. Like, really let that soak in. So who you're being right now sets up what you do every day, your to-do list. And it's going to, what you have tomorrow or next week or next year or in 10 years from now is going to be a reflection of that. So if you want something different, even just something slightly different, like you just want like healthier relationships or more clarity or better health or more money or whatever it is, okay? Because it's all the same process. It's all the same process. And now I can honestly say, I'm like, dang, this is what I've wanted my whole life. I wanted to know why we do what we do so that I can observe and get the results that I want to get. So now I intentionally hang out with people that are getting the results that I desire. Like I'm not taking advice from, and again, no digs on guidance counselors. Like I'm not taking my like, oh, what do I want to be when I grow up from a guidance counselor. Unless they're talking about this work, not interested. Unless you're making millions of dollars, not interested. Unless you're in thriving relationships and live in a super healthy body and have a super healthy mind, not interested, right? Like we're in the habit of taking advice from people that aren't getting the results that we want to get. This is huge. So anyways, that's been my journey to mental awareness. And it's what I want you to do is I want you to connect the dots looking backwards. I don't want you to look backwards and then hang out there because you can't do anything about it. It's done and it's over with. Okay. I'm not mad at my guidance counselor. If you end up watching this, whoever my guidance counselor was, I forgive you. It's okay. I got there. It took me 20 years, but I got there. Okay. And this is the powerful piece of it is you will get there because it's already in you. It's trying to express itself. You just have to lean into it. Your job is to grow your awareness so that you can tap into your greatness because it's already in you to give. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. If you want to chat more about this, book a call. I'll link it up. It's in my bio. Awesome. Have a great day.